Welcome to this course on understanding and managing anxiety. I'm psychologist Dr. Tracy Moreno. You'll need pen and paper to go right into the therapy homework at the end of this session. So if you don't already have it, you can pause the recording and come back when you're ready. The best way to understand anxiety is to understand it as fear of the unknown. The most common situation that causes fear and anxiety is change. We tend to not handle change very well because there's so many unknowns in it. Human beings are built for survival. Our mind and body will do whatever it can to survive, and unknown circumstances threaten our internal survival mechanism. We don't know what's up ahead or what to expect, so we become fearful on some level. This fear can then trigger anxiety. We often try to control anxiety by overly controlling our environment. It's an overcompensation. When we feel out of control on the inside, we overcompensate by trying to overly control the outside, the environment. Even worse is when we convince ourselves that our need to control actually works. But this is just a fallacy, a theory or a belief that we made up in our mind. The reality is, no matter how much we believe we can control our life and our anxiety, that doesn't make it true. Sure, some things may work out the way we planned, sometimes. But how often does life or the universe have a plan of its own? There's a saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. But when things don't work out the way we wanted it to, anxiety can kick into overdrive. Now, think about how that manifests itself behaviorally. We can become short-tempered or frustrated, annoyed, angry. Then we usually react to that anger in one of two ways. We can dig our heels in even more and become even more controlling, or we react in the opposite way by shutting down and throwing up our hands and reacting and retreating back to our corner. Regardless of which way we react, both of these ways can cause problems because we're operating in one of the extremes. And these problems mainly occur in our relationships with other people. The anxiety can make us seem controlling or dramatic, emotional or sensitive. This can add a lot of stress to our relationships, and we can become pretty difficult to deal with. We can hurt people and end up pushing them away. Our need to control can become a whole downward spiral. We have to ask ourselves if our need to control is really worth it. We need to assess whether that need is actually doing what we think it's doing. Is it bringing order to our life? Is it preventing bad things from happening? Are we getting everything we want? Is it helping us be more successful? If you answered yes to all these questions, then by all means, maintain your control because it may be working for you. But if you answered no to any of them, then this need to control may be causing more trouble than it's worth. So we need to change it. We need to practice letting go and learning to be more flexible. Surrendering is what I like to call it. This isn't easy to accomplish, but it's not impossible. And if learning to let go and surrender actually helps us be happier and more successful, then it's well worth the effort. This is the end of the recording for session 1 and the beginning of your therapy homework. grab that pen and paper and begin to journal how you think anxiety manifests itself in your life. How does it affect you? How does it affect your relationships? The answer to these questions will be your motivation for change at times when it sometimes feels too difficult. In the next session, we'll discuss ways to manage symptoms of anxiety. And in the course classroom, please ask questions. Share any challenges or successes you've had in this process. Provide feedback to me or give support and encouragement to other participants. This is the end of session 1.